About 4 or 5 months ago, I'm sure many of you were, like me, shaking our damn heads after Ford's announcement to end or phase out North American sales and production of their entire sedan lineup. Despite making a profit during their April 2018 quarterly financial report, it was evident that trucks and SUVs were carrying Ford. Unfortunately, the Fiesta, Focus, Fusion, and Taurus, among others, were to be phased out in the coming years due to lackluster sales when compared to their Japanese counterparts. However, at the time of making this video, the 2019 Fiesta ST line will remain. No word yet on whether or not the Focus ST or RS will remain. Anyhow, we've all seen plenty of YouTube videos watched as analysts from various media outlets weighed in on whether or not Ford made the right decision, and bloggers saying that Ford has effectively gave up on their loyal fan base. This video is just my opinion, so you don't necessarily have to agree with me, just hear me out. Let's have a civil discussion and give me your thoughts in the comment section below by the end of the video. If you guys have ever been involved in project work, y'all know that some projects will continually get funding because they're profitable and or high priority. Projects that are, on the other hand, losing the money or turning out to be more of a burden will invariably get cut. In this scenario, the projects at Ford that I'm referring to are their cars. There's extensive and very expensive research, mind you, that goes into designing, building, and mass producing a single vehicle. I'm sure the financial analysts at Ford themselves have debated behind the scenes for a number of years about whether or not they should continue to produce their sedan lineup. But before you've completely written off Ford as being an idiotic or having made the dumbest business decision of any auto manufacturer ever, give them the benefit of the doubt. I've read bold statements from individuals saying things such as, quote, "Just wait until gas prices go back to $4+ a gallon, they'll go bankrupt," end quote. I don't think so. Ask yourselves this, does Ford want to go bankrupt? Does Ford want to intentionally lose sales? Does Ford really think that gas-guzzling trucks and SUVs will save them alone in the fast-paced 21st century? You guys have to remember that Ford is among 2 automotive manufacturers in the US that have yet to go bankrupt. The other one is Tesla. Ford is a 115-year-old company. They're not thinking the way young tech startups thinking at a 5-year roadmap. No, Ford's decisions now will greatly affect their next 100 years. They're thinking for the next century. Similar to the decisions that are being made at the company that I work for that is nearing 100 years old. Our executives are continually having conversations about how they can point us in the right direction for the next 100 years. So with that in mind, earlier this year, if you guys remember, Ford made a decision to invest a whopping $11 billion into electrifying many of their cars across the world by 2022. On top of that, earlier this week, Ford teased an electric crossover that apparently was inspired by their Mustang, and there's rumor that the next Mustang will have a hybrid variant. So even if gas prices were to rise above $4 a gallon nationwide again, I think Ford will have effectively mitigated that risk rather than magnifying it. By cutting their less profitable cars, they were able to shift funds into researching and designing a whole new generation of cars to come for decades. After all, we must innovate or die slowly. I think Ford's decision to cut sedans was actually their attempt to remain relevant going forward and be one of the first auto manufacturers to mass produce a large selection or lineup of electric and hybrid vehicles to compete against the likes of Tesla on a global scale. Whether or not electric cars or hybrids are truly the future of cars is another discussion or debate. But for the time being, in my opinion, I think Ford made a reasonable decision for their future. So again, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section below. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, peace out.